Good afternoon and welcome to the Small Business Support Group. It is the 15th of July. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. I still don't understand what that means, but we're there. We're there. Let's do a little bit of the headlines and find out what's going on in the world. Apple has 13 billion euros Irish tax bill overturned. Good old Apple. The EU's second highest court says the tech giant will not have to pay a record sum in back taxes. Teenagers most likely to have been furloughed. Women aged 17 are most likely to have been put on furlough during the coronavirus crisis. ASOS to repay all furlough cash as lockdown sales rise. The fashion retailer saw group sales increase by 10% as shoppers shifted to online during lockdown. And firms start price cuts at £4 billion today on the VAT boost begins. Starbucks and McDonald's are the latest firms to cut some prices, but not all businesses can afford to do so because they're pocketing the money because of the problems they had over the crisis. Let's see who's in this morning. We've got Ben. Morning, Ben.
Morning, Matt.
And we have Grant as well. Good morning, Grant.
Top of the morning too, yeah.
And good morning to all our Twitch watchers. Yes, we're on Twitch.
We're gaming, are we?
We're gaming. We're gaming. So that yes, we had an email from Twitch. I think it was a fairly generic email across the board to everybody who transmits live on YouTube and on Facebook on a regular basis. And so it wasn't. It's not that we're great. It's just they want us on there because I had a bit of look into it last night, and they're getting a lot of content from broadcasters now. Ian Lee, who used to be with Talk Radio, has now gone over to Twitch and he does his show on there. So they're trying to move it into a platform that's getting away from gamers, basically. But hey, you know, we're all gamers. What was your? Let's ask that question. I play it. What was your favourite game when you were younger? Not now, because I know we're all too busy to play games. Grant, what was yours?
Okay, it's going to be Manic Miner. Do you remember Manic Miner?
Yes, Manic Miner. Yes, that's. I remember that was on the that's the Commodore 64. That was on, wasn't it? Did you have a Commodore? Or was it Spectrum?
ZX Spectrum. It was Spectrum.
ZX Spectrum.
Yeah, my gaming history is goes way back, and I was when I was young. I had the first computer I had was a Philips G7000, and that was the Philips competitor to the Atari.
Yeah.
And I was about 7 when I got that, and I thought that was awesome.
That was that. Yes, that's. I remember that we worked quite heavily, and we brought into the country the MSX computers. Remember those? It was when all the Japanese giants all came together, JVC, Sony, Panasonic, and they all started a computer together, and they were all the same. Obviously they built their own, but obviously the workings and the processors all were compatible, and we were at the main JVC at my dad's shop, a JVC dealer, and we just really jumped on board the MSX. And it was I remember because I was looking after it when I was about 13, 14, and I was on radio programs doing reviews for games and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. There was Manic Miner. Was a Miner 2049er? There was that one, which was quite a big one. That was a Miner 2049. That was a good one. And Frogger was quite big. We also early innovators of the Atari console with the plug-in cartridge. That was. I remember my dad had to drive down to Portsmouth. I think it was Portsmouth, and to pick up stock from Ingersoll, if anyone remember Ingersoll, and bring those into the country. Yeah, because they imported the Atari first of all, and we've still got one in the loft. Great. Ben, what was your favourite game? Did they have games in your age?
This could be about 4 shows, Matt.
No, it's well, I thought I'd do this little bit for the Twitch people. Hello, Twitch. Well, Ben, what was yours, Ben?
Space Invaders is the only game I've ever played. The rest of the time,
Space Invaders.
Do you know what? Just give me a football. Let me go outside.
Oh, man. What's wrong with you? It's
football and bikes. What else is there for a young lad?
Who remembers? So you don't even remember picking up a computer magazine, right, and typing in the code, the basic program. I bet Grant must have done this, and type it in, number 10, go to 40, all those in the basic coding, and do that for hours on end just for
In
a dot
basic.
to go across the screen.
Yeah.
It was great though, wasn't it?
I did
It was
that.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And also to download games into your computer off a tape. We used to use tapes. Remember that?
Yeah, that was back with the obviously the Commodore 64. So and the ZX Spectrum, which is where I kind of spent my youth.
Commodore.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I played football as well, but
That's all right. Then.
That was
What's that,
Lionel Richie.
What was that, Ben? Sorry.
I said, I do know about the Commodores. That was Lionel Richie.
That's Lionel Richie. Jesus, he is old, isn't he, Grant? Anyway, so we're just going to.
I tell you, my son
go on,
right
mate.
now,
Sorry.
Bruno, he's playing. I think he might even be streaming to Twitch as we speak. So he plays a lot on his laptop and his
My son will
his
be.
PlayStation.
It'll haunt
So
him
it's-
forever if I'm ever on the same platform.
Well, you're on it. You're on it right now.
Yeah,
We're
there you
on
go.
Twitch TV. It's amazing.
But what he said to me, so I told him last night when you sent me the message to say that we're going to be on Twitch, all of a sudden my kudos as a dad has just gone right up now.
Oh.
It's going, you're going to be able to make some money out of that, don't you? I'm like, you sure?
Yeah, I know. That was one thing they told me in the email. I went, okay, all right. Well,
Okay,
that's where we're
fair
going
enough.
then. We'll do a
See?
bit of that.
On at 5p.
I can't see how, if anybody is watching us, I don't know how the platform works. So it's just on. So we'll just leave it in the background, and if anybody wants to join us, we'll see how we go with it.
So the one thing I do want to talk about at some
Go on.
point now we're broadcasting to Twitch is that I have got a mobile gaming company, and
you have?
I have got a
Of course you have.
game, that is on Apple at the moment. So if the gaming community picks up,
What's the name of it?
I Popping Pests.
Is it Popping Pest one? Yeah.
Popping Pests, yeah. And I love the sort of the what's the word? The backstory that some of these games have, and the bit that's really fascinated me with building a game is kind of building the universe around it and all the sort of backstories, and it's kind of like storytelling really. And obviously, as you would already guess, Matt, it's got a bit of a sci-fi, sort of.
No. Well, I have played it because I played the demo one a year or so ago, and it is a great little game because it's simple, but it's really deep at the same time. Don't know if that's a thing, but it gets you hooked.
Yeah,
that was my review.
Really, Matt, you're simple and deep at the same time.
Nothing wrong with being simple and deep. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So we're going to talk about. We've got a few things to talk about, even though we've just spent 10 minutes talking about gaming, which is cool. Huawei have been. Is that how we pronounce it? Is it Huawei?
Should we go for that?
Yeah, I think it's
called Hawaii.
Let's do it, yeah.
Huawei, I think it is. They've been chucked out.
What?
They've been chucked out by the government, and even though Boris supported them in January, he did a U-turn. What a surprise!
It's not like him, is it?
And no, not like him at all. And he's thrown that out, and it's so they're nothing to do with the 5G network now. And my question is, which it doesn't say in any of the reports this morning, what is it being replaced with? Does anybody know?
That's exactly my question. That's what I said. So they're getting rid of them, but so who's going to do
What's
it
it
now?
being replaced with? It's a wet piece of string in a cup.
Well, it's probably as effective.
Well, probably is. So they're gone.
These sort of things don't happen overnight. They don't happen without alternative arrangements being gently worked on in the background. He says, being careful not to slander any politician who might be making a backroom deal.
Hang on a minute. Now we have to be careful because I do have. Andy's not on, but Ben's nearly edging into there. If anybody starts talking about politics, it's all... that's what happens.
And obviously, I wasn't doing that.
Grant's face is going, "What the friggin' hell's going on?"
But what we've got is a situation where we now are the same as we are. Woohoo! Nothing's broken. It's still the same.
Well, yeah, that's true. But what about the handsets? I mean, Huawei don't, and they've got this 5G network, but my dad's got a Huawei handset. Are we going to have to throw them away now, or are they going to stop working?
So my understanding of it is that they were providing the technology as part of the infrastructure. So it's got nothing to do with the handsets, because the handsets are basically Android and handsets, and you can have a number of different brands to use your Android technology software phone. And I think this is where the problem is that because Trump has now announced, he's clearly not going back into negotiations for any kind of trade deal with China. He's obviously now given it any deal that they had going with Hong Kong. He's got rid of that. Now, because Android is obviously Google and Google is American, they're going to have difficulty trading with Huawei, which could mean that as Google is the be all and end all when it comes to the internet, siding with, there could be a point at which if we put a Huawei infrastructure into the UK, that it might stop working or not, something not work properly with it because of the trade war that's going on between the US and China. So I would guess the reason they've done it is because they're worried that it might stop working, or that the US might not want to trade with us if we're using their kit.
Call me old-fashioned, but I seem to remember. I remember an era when the British inventions, the British industry, were leaders in almost any field, but certainly in fields like telephony and call me old-fashioned, but why isn't there a British 5G mast or antenna provider? Why can't we keep this in country?
Well, I mean, it's as we've said, it's just the equipment, and I don't think it's the actual transmitting section. It's the actual the base stations before you get to the transmitters. So I suppose someone's got to step up now, haven't they? It's going to be BT. We should have Darren on for this, really. Let's
face it. We know why they won the job. It's because they were cheaper. They would have in a free market, which is what we're supposed to be trading in. When you put in your bids, and you look at, and let's face it, the Huawei stuff. I mean, Ed, I work with has got a Huawei phone, and it's awesome. And it when he first had it, it was better than an iPhone. It was a brilliant phone, brilliant piece of kit. And I was amazed. I remember when we went away, and he was taking photos on the phone, and this was before Apple launched their three lens camera. The Huawei phone was already doing that like a year and a half before Apple were, and the photos were just unbelievable.
That's Chinese technology, though, isn't it?
Well, their kit is awesome, and it's well priced.
One of the issues with China, as we all know, is because they do not have and will not create such a thing as intellectual property protection. So that we like the advantages of Chinese technology. However, what we equally concede is that most of it is possibly pirated because they don't have any such thing as trademark and protection. Double-edged sword, really, isn't it? Do we want the facility of a fabulous device, given that it may be from less than whiter than white sources, or do we want to protect and make everything by a set of rules and possibly not have such good devices?
Well, I mean, doesn't Apple, or is Apple's products produced in China? That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah,
a lot of them are.
Yeah. I know it's designed in California, but they're built and constructed, and a lot of parts are actually from China. So I think this whole trade war is going to cause a problem. But with the Huawei, was there an issue with Google? Was Google not running on Huawei? Do I remember rightly?
I don't know about that, but I know obviously Google being American, and with Trump having a real bee in his bonnet about China, there's clearly a bit of an issue there.
Yeah, it was an update. There was an update, so I think they have resolved it now. I know it was a few months back, but I think Google wouldn't allow the Huawei phones to update to their new service, to the new software, which is it's just a whole minefield. I mean, are they spying? Do we really think they are spying? I think this is something directed at Ben here.
I'd say there's as much chance that they're spying as there is of Microsoft or Google themselves spying. Because if they say a liar doesn't believe anyone else. If you're going to live in a world of suspicion and espionage, then you expect everyone to be in that world because that's your mindset. I don't for 1 second believe that any country on the world is doing anything radically different than any other major power in the world. They're all as bad as each other. It's just that at the moment, when we're getting a bit of parity, the Yanks always like to be above, so they're squashing the competition.
Yeah, I love the word espionage. Always just sounds great. Doesn't it? It sounds so sexy, spying, when you say espionage, and they think, oh, okay, all right, we can get away with that. That's cool. So just let's just spin this on the head, because obviously Ben was talking about this just before we went on air with this.
Boys. We need some of this. This is a shungite. This is a mineral mined in Russia that doesn't get into politics, but does protect the cells from shortwave and electromagnetic frequencies. So if we're going to go 5G, we can't hold back the masts. We can put a shield around our body. There you go. That's my gift to humanity.
Shortwave, though. Can I say shortwave's been around a long time? Are you saying the shortwave's been affecting us?
No, what I'm saying is I think there is absolutely, without any doubt, if you bother to do the research instead of just believe what you're told at the surface, we've had increasing electromagnetic fields and radiation over the last 50, 60 years. And now we've got such things like Elon Musk's, total domination of satellites in space, which are sitting below the protective layer. They're in our atmosphere. So we've got a world where we want the technology of communication, but to give us that, we've got to increase electromagnetic frequencies. And therefore our biology, our very cellular biology, is struggling. If we can't hold back the tide of progress, then there are minerals on the planet that absorb frequencies and protect the body cells. So it's a personal thing.
So that you just put that around your neck and it'll protect you from shortwave and shipping forecast, basically. Because the shipping forecast is broadcast on shortwave, which is quite important, because that's why I was saying shortwave's been around for a long. It took a long time to get to that gag, but yes, shortwave's been around for a long time, and it's saved a lot of lives. But you're saying that little mineral.
But is that what 5G isn't?
The radical difference in 5G is the frequency and the length of the wave. So 5G works because it's a shorter wave hit at a harder frequency more often.
Well, it's just below a microwave, isn't it?
It's a microwave. Basically, we're living in a microwave oven. Now, we all would be horrified if anything were actually microwaved, but in a grander scale, that's effectively what we're now rapidly creating our sauce. Now, there are schools of thought that say it's no magic, or rather no mystery, that there are increases in immune deficiencies and cell, cancers, for example, because our bodies have been messed with like we've never had before. All I'm saying is that we know 5G is a different frequency. We know it can be potentially harmful to living cells. Go to Russia, they'll protect you.
Have you scanned that? Make sure there's not a chip inside that Russian stone there.
They're listening.
Could that be funny?
No,
they're selling these out, and they've put chips in them.
The girl that brought it me, she was very believable.
Really? Okay. All right then. I know. Yeah, I understand. But the comment you made about Elon Musk's satellites, which are below our, not in our atmosphere, but below the stratosphere slightly, is I understand that, but they're there for a reason. We need them. And also, obviously, the British have just bought a defunct satellite service, which Andy was talking about the other day, which is I can't remember the name. I think it's Telelink. I think it's called, and they've just bought it, but they've only got like 30 satellites up there because that's all they've got, and it's not going to work. It will never work. They spent billions on it, and it's exactly the same as Musk's system, but they just Starlink one. But the British one is I don't know why they purchased that. That's ridiculous. It's other messages coming through here. So just about Huawei. Oh, there's lots of stuff coming through. That's interesting. There's something else happened. I'll check that in a second. So just going on. to one of the other topics that I wanted to talk about today is that Tesco's. Now, this is funny because last year, as a company, a lot of the big supermarkets in their smaller chains were using refillable containers. Now, this is obviously going to save the planet as such, but Tesco's has gone in conjunction with Loop, which is a refillable container system. So you just basically take your container to Tesco's, and I think they're going to be run in the smaller metro Tesco's, and you take your container and fill it up with the product that you require, and so you can use one container and for your life virtually. So you can fill it up with Coca-Cola, with creams, with cereals, with rice, ketchup, all this type of thing. And Loop are actually going to supply all this, and it's going to be in conjunction with Tesco's as well. Do you think that's a good idea? I think it's a great idea.
Well, can I just clarify? I can take one container in there and I can put my cereal and my milk and my sugar and just have my breakfast.
Yeah, it's called a bowl. That's called a bowl, Ben.
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
No, it's what they do is Loop will supply the original package, which obviously a lot of these packaging, the single-use packaging, even recyclable ones, have got sealed units on the top, so you can't refill them very easily. But Loop have actually taken like a Heinz ketchup bottle and adapted it so it can go into a Loop system, and it'll fill it up with ketchup every time you need it. I mean, it won't work for everything, but I think it's a great idea. Going down, you have to wash it out, obviously, but
sounds a bit of a faff.
It is a faff, but
it is.
I don't know how many ketchup bottles we use throughout the year. There's got to be a few.
Waitrose have been trialing this in some of their stores for a long
That's right.
time
That's
now.
right.
They've been having, so you go back to the pick and mix type theory, our bag of sweets, a few of them. That principle for cereals, for example, or for shampoos or detergents, squeeze it down and fill it. That, frankly, we all have got to be aware of single-use plastics. And if we're not going to buy glass for our ketchup, rather than the squeezy bottle every time, at least refill. Going forward, it has to be the sort of thing we embrace, because if we don't take responsibility, we're not educating our kids. And believe you me, we haven't got to be looking too far to see the damage that plastic waste is building up to create.
It's true. I mean, I'm just reading it here that 150 products are going to be set up originally. It's going to be the north of England. They're going to start it in the Tesco's. So it will be Persil washing. This is some of them. Heinz tomato ketchup, Coca-Cola, some yogurt companies are involved in it as well. So I think it's great, but as long as they've been designed so they are recyclable as well. Because what some people like, they'll just throw them away and they won't realise what they're doing. So I think it's good. You say it's a faff, but aren't you a believer of recyclable material?
Massively, yeah, massively. I'm just thinking, I struggle to remember to take my blooming shopping bags when I go shopping. Let alone, the amount of times I've turned up and go, oh, forgot my bags. To try and remember all of that is, don't get me wrong, I'm all for it. It sounds great, but you've got to try and take into account that you're going to have to change people's habits there. So, but every little helps, I guess, Yeah,
I mean, the alternative, of course, is we genuinely do have technology to create a plastic that is, or a type of plastic that's biodegradable. But of course, that's a cost. And the plastics is driven by the oil industry, which currently controls this planet. So they are so big and so powerful. And yet, actually, the answer is all the governments say, sorry, but as of 2025, we're not going to accept single-use plastics. You've got to create biodegradable plastics. But at least in the meantime, this is a halfway house, try and change consumer habits. But the stupidity is we have the technology. It's just that the providers aren't being forced to use the technology.
I mean, I suppose if you put your mind back 10 years, or how long we've had recyclable bins, it's got to be about 6-7 years, isn't it? We've had the brown bins. It's about If you go back 15 years ago, that would be alien to them, wouldn't it? To have
everything just goes in the bin.
Yeah, everything went in a bin, and I still fall foul of it, and
Our
my daughter
recycling
that keeps
bin is
me-
always much fuller than our general bin. We get loads more
Yeah.
recycling,
Well,
but
that's
but
because
then that's that whole
it's
it's that
packaging,
whole
isn't
question,
it?
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. But you do
Yeah, it's
wonder how
Amazon.
you see these these documentaries that say that all of that recycling ends up going overseas and just landfill anyway.
Correct. And that's, and do we know if I move areas or go to your house, what's the rules in your area? Because it's different in mine.
Have
And
you,
so, yeah.
Ben, down south? Do you do because down in Devon, I know it's not your area, but they have food waste, which is separate.
Yeah, we have food waste separate.
Oh, we haven't got that at all. We
But
don't
the
have food
issue is,
waste.
on the plastics, they tell us that plastic bottles recyclable, but nearly all the food we produce or package, at least, like the strawberries and the blueberries and all the little fruit, they're little tiny plastic trays. They're not recyclable.
No.
So you've got this total disparity for the average, not very bright consumer that says, "Well, I don't know which plastic is which," so it doesn't work.
No, that is really true. And just on the subject of bags, because Grant brought it up, I just gone into Solihull. I parked in Morrison's. They've got paper bags now. How long have they had those? Because that's a brilliant idea. I've been banging on about that for years. Why don't we have paper bags? Yeah, I mean,
because if it rains, they fall apart.
No, I no, because I went in and I purposely went in and bought something just to have a look at the back, and it's quite a sturdy, big, like an American, the grocery store bags that they have in the States.
Yeah.
It's like that. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Why have we had to have bloody plastic?
Because everything is the whole story of our current modern world is the only master we serve is the dollar shareholder return. And until we can change that, until we've got enough balls as a race to empower government to force the corporates to just do what's economically sound for the planet, we aren't going to change this. Plastic bags make more sense than wet cardboard bags, I agree, but they don't make sense if you're going to kill the next generation for our kids.
No, that's quite true. It is difficult. It is very difficult to be good to the planet. Right, we have to finish on time today because of Twitch, because we are programmed in for 30 minutes. So we have only got about 30 seconds left here, which is it's fine. We can work around that. Next time I'll program it in a bit longer. I'm not sure how it works if I put an hour in and only do 40 minutes, but we'll learn that. We'll understand that. Okay, so that is it. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much, Grant.
One last comment. Every single consumer out there, you have the power. Stand up. Choose how you buy.
Okay. Where do you want them to buy then?
Right on, brother.
Yeah, that's great.
We have the individual power, don't we, to buy right.
30 seconds. What you want, Ben? Is that you finished?
Yeah.
Because Right, that's it then.
Why do you do that?
We will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.
Adios.
Cheers, guys.